Hello there. Hello. Just to reassure you, you haven't arrived at a Charles Manson lookalike competition. No, I am Jimmy Berrigan. And what you're actually about to witness here is the slow mental collapse of a 25-year-old man. You see, I don't cope well under pressure. I'm rather like paper in relation to origami. I fold it into lots of interesting shapes. For instance, the swan. So as I said, I am Jimmy Berrigan, and I'm a homophobic lesbian trapped in a man's body. Now this doesn't mean I want to be a woman, but I've thought about it. In fact, I've thought daily about having 2 sweet sea cups of my very own to tinker with. And if the doctor approves it, who knows? The only show you'll see me putting on then is Shakespeare through the medium of breast shadow puppetry. It is not as wide as a church door, nor as deep as a well, but is enough. Be silent, you tit. But this actually got me to thinking, you know, women and men, they're very, very similar, very, very similar, except that, you know, women have gestation periods. Men have manifestation periods. What this means is that we come, suddenly, without warning. But other people do that during sex, don't they? They do that during sex, don't they? They go, I'm coming! Well, they don't do that, because that'd be a bit weird, really. But they go, I'm coming. What I like to do instead is I like to go, I'm manifesting. It's like performing some ancient pagan ritual with the bonus that something actually happens. But as I said, this got me to thinking, you know, women and men, women, they're a bit like revolvers, aren't they? I mean, you can use them to fire one off, but beware of the recoil. So I was with this young lady the other day and we were engaged in the act of horizontal refreshment. And suddenly, there's an eruption. I say an eruption, I mean a trickle. Leaving her coiled tighter than a Catholic priest who hasn't seen a choir boy in about 6 months. And suddenly she starts screaming, "Help me, God!" Which is fair enough, we were in a church at the time. I think I should probably give this another go. At which point she starts praying. Praying, of all things. Bloody nuns, eh? Then she starts shouting again. She starts shouting, "This is what I gave up my celibacy for." I said, "This is what you gave up your celibacy for." But no, she wasn't really a nun. No, I wasn't really a nun. No, I was a monk. Which explains the haircut. And the beard. But no, I wasn't really a monk. No, I wasn't really a monk. No, it was my ex. Which explains the haircut. And the beard. But that woman, perfect example of why relationships, they're a bit like cushions. You know? Soft at first. After the constant batterings, they do turn lumpy. Not a wife beater, not a record. But I turned round to my ex the other day and I said, "Why do you think we split up? You know, why do you think we split up?" And she said, "Well, you never treated me as though I was special, did you?" I said, "What, do you want me to slip you through pills and whack you in a wheelchair?" Not the wisest thing to say on reflection. But there were, you know, there were 2 really good things to come out of that relationship. My 2 daughters, and a lot of material. Yeah. So yeah, as I said, I've got two beautiful daughters, 2 wonderful, wonderful daughters. And when I first became a father, I thought, it's probably time I sorted my life out a bit. So I called my mum up and said, "Mum, I'm thinking of buying a house. What do you think?" She said, "Oh, you need a mortgage for that? Is that really a responsibility you want at your age?" I said, "Of course, children, not enough of a responsibility." I thought, you're probably right. But you know, children, they get things that we don't they? I mean, they get things that we don't, like childies. When I was a child, You know, I often had the feeling I was being shoved aside, pushed away, shoved aside, just pushed away. Which is why I don't take my children on the swings. They shouldn't have to live with that. So as I said, I've got two wonderful daughters, and they say beautiful things. Wonderful, beautiful, lovely. I mean, my eldest daughter, Sarah, and she turned around to me the other day, she said, "I love you, Daddy. I will invite you to my party." I should fucking hope so as well. I'm paying for the damn thing. You see, a children's birthday party requires two things. First of all, the precision of a military operation. And secondly, a secret Swiss bank account to fund the bloody thing. And it was at this children's birthday party that I realised kids are insane. I mean, sleep deprivation would cause any normal child, any normal person, to want to collapse in the shower eating pot noodle from a shoe with a razor, and not just any razor, mind you, a big razor. Not kids, no, not kids, no. They even think that they've been given a Red Bull amphetamine cocktail. I swear that only happened once. So, I asked my daughter, I turned around to her, I said, "What do you want for your birthday? What do you want for your birthday?" And she said, "Cake and a party. Cake and a party." Beautiful, you know, such childlike, beautiful things. Cake and a party. And money. It's your mother you learned that off. But it isn't. No. You see, I was playing shop with her the other day. You know, pretend items for pretend money. It was all very civilised when this occurred to me. This is an opportunity for some education. So, out came the Monopoly. I laid it down on the floor in front of her. She said, "I would like some chocolate, Daddy." I said, "Right, that'll be 2 red money and 1 blue." She gives me 1 red, 1 blue. I said, no. It's 2 red and 1 blue. She says, "No, Daddy! 1 red, 1 blue." Haggling at the age of 2. I was so proud. I felt like sending her off to an Egyptian market to buy me a quality rug. But she didn't. So anyway, the game goes on a little bit longer, and you can see her little mind working away. And it occurs to her that if she buys the shop, then she has all the stuff in the shop. Clever girl. She goes, "I will buy the shop, Daddy." I said, "Well, you need a mortgage for that. Is that really a responsibility you want at your age?" Anyway, the game goes on just a little bit longer, when my younger daughter comes into the room, drooling and such, and starts messing around with all the money, like some sort of demented Barclays worker. But it was at this point I got thinking about the recession. That's a very weak link, I'll give you that. But stick with me, alright? And I thought to myself, things are getting very, very expensive recently, aren't they? You know? Which is why I've taken to preferring my pet's system of ownership. That's right. Pissing on things. And it's true, you know, if you piss on someone's property, they tend not to want it anymore. But I kind of hope that this doesn't catch on. Otherwise, all you're going to see is a bunch of fellas lying in the streets, pissing on lawns, going, "Ah, home for the family." And all it cost was an £80 public urination fine. And could you imagine the estate agent as well? "So, sir, would you like to lay down a deposit?" "Why, certainly." Which brings me neatly, and without question, to religion. They say that God made man on the 6th day. I have to say, I prefer his earlier work. And I never really expected Moses to be a biker, you know? I mean, for does it not say in the Old Testament, "And the people looked in awe at his triumph"? Only the people with bikes got that. But I suppose my final beef with the Bible is, sorry Hindus, my final beef with the Bible is God's not really the good guy we all think he is he? I mean, Did he ask Mary's permission? Gabriel, grab your head and all we have learned. Yeah, he's appearing a bit more like the Antichrist now, isn't he? In fact, I have met the Antichrist. I called her cupcake at one time. So a fellow walked up to me in the street the other day. He says, "What's the time?" I said, "It's the fire in which we all burn." He goes, "You what?" I said, "It's the hunter that stalks us all." He goes, "Come again?" I said, "It's the wrecking ball that destroys all of our looks." He said, "What the hell did you just say?" I said, "It's like 4+4, mate." And another fellow walks up to me in the street. This happens a lot, by the way. Another fellow walks up to me in the street the other day. He goes, "Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?" I go, "No, is he good?" I probably should have left that out, shouldn't I? Then another fella walked up to me in the street the other day. As I said, it does happen a lot. He goes up and he's handing out free Wilkinson sword blades, you know. He goes, "Free razor blades, sir." I said, "Thank you, I've just come from a self-harm group." But I'm going to finish off now with a little story that was told to me by a friend of mine. It was told to him by a friend of his. It was told to him by a friend of his. That was about a friend of his. Are you all still with me? Basically, in this story, there is another gentleman, and he is engaged in the act incident. Actually, before we get into that, we'll do this. Has anybody here ever heard of the pterodactyl? I think that's a yes. Yeah, fantastic. It's a sexual position, or supposedly kind of a sexual position, and it basically means at the point of ejaculation, at the point where, you know, that's the point of no return. Call it that. Here we go. You gather the duvet around yourself. Good fun, try it. Anyway, I was saying, this young gentleman, he's also engaged in the act of horizontal reflection. So he isn't actually horizontal at the time, he's very much vertical. And somehow, some way, this young lady ends up down at his knees. And somehow, some way, God knows how, he ejaculates all over her face. Specifically, her forehead. And the first thing this young gentleman could think to do was this. Simba! I was in a very young world, and good night.
Mr. Berrigan. I will see the momentum on now going to the ladies and gentlemen from Berrigan, Chris Choppin.
Alright. So, hello. I'm English. I've lived in Wales for about 10 years and I love it. I love it in Wales, but the teenagers here, you have hard lives.